Whatever it is we do, whether it's here or on another site, we're all working towards the same goal. We are all working towards the same goal, and that's the people that are around us that, you know, we're here to care for.
The whole building we need to clean, from the offices right down to the mortuary. We can go anywhere in the building and keep it clean and tidy, really.
When you walk along the ward, it doesn't feel clinical, but it does feel clean, and it feels a really welcoming environment that you'd want your family to be in. That it feels like a home from home because it's kept so lovely and clean all the time by the staff that work here.
We spend most of our time on the ward, and so we're in the patients' rooms almost every day. I think everybody else is the same. I love being on the ward. That is my favourite place to be in the whole of the hospice. Just the atmosphere is just lovely. The patients are lovely. Their families are. The staff are. It's just a really nice place to be, which is really odd considering its purpose. And sometimes outside of the hospice, people say, "Oh, you work at the hospice? Oh, I couldn't do that. That must be really sad." And sometimes it is really sad, but a lot of the time, excuse me, a lot of the time it's actually really lovely. And it's a privilege to be with people at the end of their life. It's a real privilege to be with people at the end of their life. And you meet some really interesting people. Yeah, love it. The ward, definitely.
We're somebody neutral. We're not a nurse, we're not a doctor, we're not family. So they do seem to open up to us and tell you anything.
There are people, you go into the room, to say you go into the room almost daily, and there will usually be photographs on the sort of dressing table, piece of furniture. And depending on the age of the patient, they may be quite old photographs. And there was one recently where, and I picked the photograph up because it's always a good way to see if a patient actually wants to talk to you or not. Because sometimes they don't. They just want to be left alone, and that's fine. But if they want to talk, sometimes you walk in the room and as soon as you get in the room, they'll start chatting. So that's obvious, but sometimes it's not. So I picked up a photograph and it was of a lady in uniform in a silver frame, and I said, "Who's this?" And this gentleman said, "That's my wife." And I said, "Oh, she's in the forces." And he said, "Yes, we met at Aldershot." And then he told me about how they met, and it was during the war, and how they were parted during the war, and then they got back together, and then they got married, and it's just a lovely story. It was just really, really nice to... He allowed me to share part of his story, you know, he told me, so I'm privileged to be, and I'm not just saying it because it's a word we trot out. You do feel that, I feel that. I mean, I don't know this man, and he shared that with me. How lovely. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a nursing assistant. I'm a hospitality assistant, so I will concentrate on what I can do to support patients and families. Keep them safe, keep them comfortable, and sometimes have a laugh too.